Welcome to Basic and Bookish Podcast, the perfect place to crash out over our favorite books and connect with readers just like you. I'm Kinsey.
And I'm Karly.
Today is about our experience at LA RomantasyCon, hosted by Fabled Fantasy Events. This episode is not sponsored. It's just something fun we want to talk about in case you're wanting to attend book events and don't know where to start.
We'll be discussing our favorite moments, what you should know before you go, how RomantasyCon compares to other book events we've attended, and what we would do differently next time. You can find the timestamps for each section down in the show notes.
If you'd like to skip the ads and have access to full video formats, it's available now on Patreon. That link can also be found down in our show notes.
Now prepare to join the chaos. Honestly, we blame the ADHD.
Starting off with our favorite moments of LA RomantasyCon, what did you like, Karly?
I mean, getting to see you first in person, top tier, top of the list, that's always my favorite.
I'm blushing.
I met so many incredible authors, so many incredible authors. I just had so much fun connecting with other readers. Like, you just be in line to get an author signing and you just be like talking to the girls around you, and everyone was just so kind, and it was just such a great experience.
Agreed. I have to say my favorite part is definitely meeting authors and hanging out with other readers just like us, because it just feels like Bookstagram and book talk in real life, and it's just a big meetup and we're all fans of the same things and everybody belongs. And I just think it's super, super cool that you could be right next to an author and not even know it. Like the very first night, I had arrived a couple days early. I went to the hotel bar to have dinner, and Courtney Wynn, who is the author of Vessalus, sits down next to me and we just start chatting. An hour and a half into the conversation, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm an author." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And we're like friends now. And also, not to brag, but Hannah Nicole Mayer did say that I'm her friend. So, no, but I'm like, that's so crazy. I just get really excited being able to see a lot of my favorite authors, like Hannah Nicole Mayer and Demi Winters. And there's so many. I can't even list them all, but that was just so fun to me. And obviously meeting you is such a highlight, but we of course can do that like anytime. It's not just RomantasyCon.
Yeah, we're just so far from each other.
I know. But yeah, I definitely have to say seeing all the authors and hanging out with other readers is just my favorite part.
Yeah, it was great. I think saying it's like Bookstagram in real life is the exact right way to describe it. It really did feel that way. I got to meet Danielle Jensen, I know, which was like also a huge highlight.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. And I finally got to meet Hannah Nicole Mayer in person, and I definitely fangirled way too hard, but she was just so kind and gracious, and like she always is.
Such a sweetie pie. I love her so much.
There are so many things we wish we knew before we went, so we've listed what you should know before you go. Starting off, shipping books.
That's a big one.
Yeah. You if you're gonna get a lot of books, this part's for you. One of the big benefits of book conventions is that you can bring your books from home and have authors sign them, or you can buy books there and have authors sign them. Either way, you're gonna have a lot of books. This is great, but then there's the issue of getting home, because luggage can only be so heavy and there's only so much room in your bag. Trust me, I know. So FedEx is an option. You can go ship your books with FedEx home, or you can go to USPS and ship your books home. USPS typically is closed, I think, on Sundays. I don't know that there's any locations open on Sundays anymore. I think there used to be, but not anymore. And Saturdays, most of them close early, like 1 or 2 o'clock. I think actually some even close at noon. So if you want to use USPS, which is the cheapest way to do it, you can send a big box of books for like, I don't know, $10-15.
Because they do media mail. You just have to specifically state, this is media mail, it's books, and it doesn't matter how large the box is. There's like a base rate, and then each additional pound is like not even $1 more. It's pretty cheap. So if you can ship it on a Saturday, highly recommend. FedEx is there on Sunday.
Yeah, I will say I shipped, I think, 15 books home with FedEx in a decent sized box. It cost me like $30. So while that was still more expensive than USPS, it was still cheaper than another luggage with the airline.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
This time I somehow didn't actually have to ship anything. It all fit in my carry-on and my checked bag. But I did have to ship books at another convention. And I took the subway and then I walked to the USPS store. I was like, I am not paying for FedEx. And so I went to USPS. I didn't have a box or tape, so I got that for like $5. And then the shipping was $14 and I shipped home like almost 20 books. So definitely look into that, or you can just plan ahead with your luggage, but it is very hard.
Yeah. So. One other small tip I will say is if you do use like a rideshare service to get over to a FedEx or a USPS, to go there was $9 with a rideshare service. When I went to go back and I typed in the hotel, it wanted to charge me $18 to return. So I typed in the restaurant that was right next door to the hotel, which wasn't a fancy restaurant. It was just like a casual cafeteria style restaurant. It was $9 to go back all of a sudden. So rideshare services, I do think potentially are charging you more if you're going to a quote unquote fancy hotel than if you're going the exact same distance to somewhere that's not a fancy hotel. So keep that in mind. I saved myself $9 because it was literally $18 to go to the hotel or $9 to go to the restaurant right next door to the hotel on the same block.
Wow.
So I was really, I found that annoying, but to keep that in mind if you're using a rideshare service, save yourself a few dollars.
Yeah, that's really good to know. One piece of advice that I would say is dress for the theme. People go all out. And I learned this at my first book convention because I do enjoy cosplaying. If you follow me on social media, like I cosplay, but I wasn't expecting everyone to do it. And like there could even be like a movie night or games. And there is usually like a cosplay party. And at LA RomantasyCon specifically, they had a vampire soiree and they also had like a dragon rider party thing. And everybody dresses out. So don't be embarrassed. Definitely go all out for the theme. I try to fit to every single theme now that I know that like everyone actually does go super hardcore. Even for the ball. I love dressing up for the ball. It's so fun. I love seeing everyone else's outfits. Just do it. Don't pull back. But I will say lots of themes, lots of outfits, which means less space in your luggage. So plan things out. Try to have versatile clothing options. I knew that one of like my cosplay pieces that I would only wear for like an hour or two would be something that I would want to wear on another day. So there were certain items of clothing that I was like, I'll use it multiple times to save space on my luggage. So just kind of like plan it out.
Yeah, versatile is the key. So one of the other items I want to talk about is pre-orders. You don't have to bring all your books with you. You can pre-order directly from authors before the event. And Romantasy BookCon also has a pre-order page for their events. Some authors like Demi Winters and Courtney Wynn had special sprayed edge copies you could only get at that specific event. So pre-orders are advantageous in securing your spot. Don't make the mistake I did and miss your pre-order window because they do close at like, however many weeks before the event, and every author's can be different. So keep an eye on those pre-order dates.
Yeah. And another thing I'll add too is if you do know that you're going to be bringing a lot of books from home, if you do pre-orders, then that means you don't have to worry about bringing more books with you. Like you don't have to like stress about shipping things ahead of time. Because the books will already be there. They're just waiting for you. And then if you are shipping books home, you only have to worry about it going one way. So that's another benefit of pre-orders.
Yeah.
Book carts. I am sure lots of people have seen this online. What are they used for? What do we put inside? Book carts are amazing. They are used so that you don't hurt your back or your arms because you can haul your books in a cart with wheels instead, and you don't have to actually carry anything. I each day would plan out which authors I was going to see and only have those specific books in my cart, along with fabric sleeves to protect my books. This was something that we didn't mention for shipping, but also like you are going to want stuff to be protecting your books too. So keep that in mind for weight and storage restrictions. But I would plan it out. I'd have all my books in their protective covers throughout the day. I would like go back up to my room and drop them off again, swap them out, whatever. Also inside my book cart, I would have my water bottle. I had like a tiny little mini mic that I would use for creating content, snacks, meds because you might be needing some Tylenol. You're on your feet walking around all the time. And whatever else you're going to need for the day, that's what I would keep inside the cart. It's basically an oversized purse. At one point, I also slung my RomantasyCon badge / lanyard over the handle instead of wearing it on my neck all day because like I'm like really sensitive on my neck. Like if I have stuff hanging off of it, and people like to trade ribbons. So it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. So I just like had it on my cart. It is also optional. I did this. Some people decorate their carts just to know whose is whose. I painted mine with the cutest little Goldrin and King's Flame design from Throne and Glass, basically sword, flowers, etc. And other people turn their book carts into little like trinket trading booths. So if you like to trade trinkets, you can have a cute little basket for your book cart and have signs that say trinket trading. I saw that a lot.
Speaking of, somebody gave me a little duck.
Oh, that's so cute.
I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to hold it up.
It, yeah.
It's so cute. I love him. He's on my desk.
I listen. I go to lots of book conventions. I go to the Ren Fair. I have so many of those teeny tiny little ducks. It's crazy.
I love that.
But yeah,
I actually collect ducks. So it was so funny when she offered me one. I was like, I actually collect ducks.
Okay.
So.
I'll be bringing you ducks next time.
Okay. I'm excited.
One other thing I will say for RomantasyCon with book carts specifically, there are a lot of stairs at the LA hotel. And from what I've heard, like they do go back to the same hotels. So if you're like, even having it in a cart, having to carry it is too much for you. For one, you can request ADA accommodations if you qualify so that you can take the lift up. But some people did have carts that have special wheels specifically to go upstairs. So if you're someone who like physically cannot carry your book cart up some stairs, look into those special wheeled options. They also had like checkpoints for you to check your book cart, like a coat check thing. So you could grab whatever you needed, go downstairs, watch a panel, come back up, and then get your cart and go. So that is something to keep in mind for the LA one. Unfortunately, there are things on, I want to say like 4 or 5 different levels, because there's like a very, very bottom level for the panels. Then there's kind of like a lower mid-level where they had one of the ballrooms. Then you go up and it's like the main floor, like the lobby. Then you have to go up again to like majority of the ballrooms. And then you go upstairs to go to where they have the workshops. And then you take the elevator up to the 11th floor to where they had the ticketed authors. So it's kind of crazy and all over the place. So just keep that in mind. While book carts are super helpful for like not having to carry a tote bag, they can also be kind of annoying to carry up some stairs.
Yes, they definitely can. I was surprised how many people were hauling book carts up and down those stairs. I will say, I think if you stay in the hotel, it might not be as necessary for a book cart if that's going to feel very cumbersome to you to deal with. Because there were oftentimes I just grabbed my tote bag and I would just take like the 1 or 2 books I needed. I would go get those signed and then I would go back to my room and switch them out. Because oftentimes you're standing in line for maybe 30 minutes. So by the time you get through and get done, I'd go upstairs, grab a snack, and drop off my books. And it usually didn't take that long. Also, there are different types of book carts. Like Kinsey was saying, there's book carts with the little wheels that will go up the stairs for you. They kind of like are in a triangle shape. There's like 3 wheels in a triangle shape and they roll over the steps. But I actually used like I think they call it a teacher bag. They're designed for teachers. And so mine was a soft-sided bag. And so because of that, I didn't feel like I needed to have my book covers for my individual books in the bag because it was like soft inside. It also had extra pockets, so I kind of used it as like a wallet. It had handles on the top that you could grab and pick up. So it was easier to carry up the stairs than the big book carts. So it was smaller, it had less space inside, but I still fit, 8 to 10 books in that book cart pretty easily at a time. So it's also something to think about. It was also, I think, a little lighter for your suitcase. And it does also fold flat like the book carts do. So something to think about, look into your options. I will say if I did it again, I think I would have still gotten like one of the really soft-sided teacher bags. But I think I would have gotten one with 4 wheels instead of 2 because the ones that can swivel I think would have been easier to navigate. But other than that, I am glad I got a soft-sided bag personally because it was easier for me to lug around.
Yeah. And for me, I did have one of the big plastic ones, but they did have the 360 wheels. So I could have it like laying flat and rotate it around me. I would do it again. Like I would bring it. And also because you did mention like folding it down and the weight, mine does fold down really easily. I was able to fit a lot of items inside of my checked bag. I was not even close to the weight limit, which is really nice. And I want to say that my cart weighs around 6 or 7 pounds. I'm sorry, I don't know the kilograms for that. I should have looked that up beforehand, but it was about 6, 7 pounds, which is not very much. For reference, usually the standard for checked luggage is about 50 pounds. So that's kind of that. And I was like, oh my God, the stairs, like, yeah, it was really annoying. But the worst was going down to the panel at the basement and going up to the workshops. Those had the most stairs, but like from the lobby to the regular ballrooms, it was maybe 5 to 10 stairs, and they're really flat. They're not like super high stairs. So it's not super difficult to go up. Like it's not like it's less than like a flight of stairs in a home is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's still annoying, but it's not like huge distance, but like going all the way down to the basement, it was. And what I found really strange was they have an escalator that goes down, but then they don't have an escalator that goes up. So you can take the escalator down if you choose to bring your book cart with you, but then on the way up, you will be having to carry it physically.
It was also oftentimes turned off. So the escalator was only, I think, on like 50% of the time. So I don't know what was going on there, but that wasn't always an option. So it's just really something to think about. Is a book cart's going to work for you or not? So to think about it, look at the hotel. That's true for where we were at. Romantasy BookCon in LA was held at the Biltmore. I don't know that all hotels are that stair heavy. So it just depends. It's a historic building. So that's why that one I think is so stair heavy. It is very, very beautiful building. I will say though, there was a book cart check, like a coat check, but for your book cart. But check the hours on that because the book cart check closed 2 hours before the convention floor did and before all the panels were done. So
that was a surprise.
Yeah, that was a surprise too. I showed up a little after they had closed and luckily somebody was still there. So I hung out with our carts for a minute while you finished up a panel. But I was surprised that they closed 2 full hours before the convention floor did.
Yeah, I think it was because it was only like one of the days, and I think it was because they were trying to get it ready for the ball or something. Back to the stairs, though, real quick. I don't want to scare people who do need ADA accommodations because to go down to where the panels are, they do have a lift. It's only reserved for people who sign up for ADA.
Yes.
So that is an option if you do need it. I want to make that very, very clear. So don't let that deter you.
Yes.
I will say, though, the line did look a little long at times. So
yeah, I think it's a one person at a time lift for some accessible areas.
Again, it is an old historical building.
It is.
So
just things to keep in mind.
Okay, moving on. I think we've lectured you guys enough on that. Registration for panels and author signings. It fills up. I was not prepared and I missed the registration. I was on time for the authors. You'll want to look at the schedule ahead of time to plan who you most want to see or what panels you most want to attend. Before the registration is open, be on the app, ready to sign up, because for the authors, I was there. I was ready. I got everyone that I wanted. It was great. But for the panels, I forgot. And I got there 8 minutes after the registration started, and everything was full. Everything. I did not get a panel 8 minutes after it opened. So I did not know, because it was my first time going to RomantasyCon. I was not anticipating how crazy it would get. So definitely be there early. But if you do miss it, don't stress, because people do drop out. And I ended up being able to attend all of my most anticipated panels in the end. So check the app every so often during the convention to see what does open up. And if you are not booked, they do also have a standby line. I never saw anyone being rejected because there were always plenty of seats at the panel. So there are options. Don't freak out. Also, I just found this out, but after the convention, they do email you a Google Drive folder that has recordings of all the panels. So if you can't choose which panel you want to attend, or you missed one, or you were like busy and like off doing something else, they will all be available for you later. So like, don't be sad, because I do feel like I had to prioritize ticketed author signings and panels, and I didn't actually get a ton of time to see the convention floor. So like, you can watch it later. You do not have to be in person. It's good to know.
Some of the scheduling with that was a little stressful. So definitely know what you want to sign up for before signups open. Be prepared. Make sure you don't pick things that overlap, because they will kick you out of things. They will just cancel your ticket to it. So just, be prepared for signups. We did not realize how chaotic it was going to be.
Yeah. And if you're like really stressed about it, one thing you could do too is I had the high lady ticket. And so I got more author signings available, and they do let those tickets choose the authors first, and then it opens up to the other ticket levels later. And then once it's open to everybody, if there are still author spots, which there were plenty, then you can sign up for however many you want. So I think I was allowed 3 authors, and that was it. And then every other ticket tier had like 1 author they could sign up for, and then whatever's left, like everyone can go. And they also have a Discord. And so people were in the Discord and saying like, hey, I have an extra book available. If anyone wants a book signed, I can take that. I actually did that for some people because I was only getting 1 book signed. And so I took someone's book plate and their book and I got it back for them, because authors will limit it to 3 books usually, and people are trading like, so that's also an option. But if you're stressed about it, you could get like the higher ticket tier, but they don't like stagger it for the ticket tiers for the panels and the workshops. That's everybody all at once. So keep that in mind.
All right. So staying on the property, you don't have to when you go to these book conventions. You could stay at another hotel. You can stay at a friend's house. You can Airbnb. You can do whatever you want. But I do want to say that it is convenient, especially if you're hauling a lot of books around. Being able to go up to your room to take a nap, take breaks. I need to rest my back pretty regularly because I have back issues. Just kind of get away from the overstimulation of it. The convention floor can be very chaotic. It's fun, and everybody is so nice, but it's still a lot. So I get overstimulated kind of easily. So being able to go back to the room and decompress, even just for 20 minutes, and then pop back down was really, really nice. It's really nice to be able to drop off your books as soon as they're signed and go leave them in your room, so you're not having to haul them around anymore. And, you're not necessarily having to use as many ride shares or rent a car, which can be an extra expense. So when you're looking at cost savings, take that into account, that you may not need a rental car or ride shares as often. I think we walked everywhere for food because there was plenty of food places nearby. And we also ate on property quite a bit. So those are options.
Yeah. It also helps the event company if you book through their hotel block. This is something I learned recently, because apparently they have a certain number of rooms that they have to fill. And then if they don't fill it, then they have to like pay the difference, which usually isn't an issue for events like RomantasyCon because they have so many people staying. Like I feel like majority of the people were staying at RomantasyCon, like everyone that you'd see in the hallways or when you take the elevator up to your room, everyone had a book cart or was dressed up wearing some kind of bookish clothes. So I think it's pretty popular to stay on property.
Yeah. I can understand that why it might be a cost savings for people that where it might be worth it. But just things to take into consideration. Are you going to need ride shares and things like that when you take in the cost savings?
I wouldn't normally stay at hotels like this, but simply from the convenience factor, I did, just because they are quite expensive.
Yeah.
But the good news is you can share a room with a friend, like what we did.
We did. It was nice. We got ready together. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I've actually never been to any other book events, but you have. So how did this one compare to the other ones?
So I've only been to one other like book convention, and that one was Books, Gowns, and Crowns. I went to the one in DC. That was chapter 4. I had a ton of fun at that. RomantasyCon, I don't think I was prepared for the size, There were thousands of people, but Books, Gowns, and Crowns felt a little bit more intimate. Like I feel like I got to actually get to know a lot of the authors and other content creators there because I want to say there was like less than 800 people maybe in attendance. I mean like guests, not I don't know how many like vendors and authors were there. What was nice about Books, Gowns, and Crowns that I kind of wish that RomantasyCon could implement, I don't know if that would even be possible, but they had the convention floor open in the morning until like 2 or so that everyone got to go around the convention floor and you're not like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the panels. I'm going to miss the workshops because all of the panels and workshops were in the afternoon. And like it gave everyone a chance to go get lunch. And then in the afternoon, you can go to whatever panels you wanted to go to. So that was just like really nice that they actually split it up because I do feel like I didn't get enough time to fully experience everything because I was just like all over the place, not trying to not miss my reservations that I had. But like compared to RomantasyCon, as far as like themed events, I feel like Books, Gowns, and Crowns is very similar. Like we had a movie night, we had a cosplay welcome party, we had a ball. So I think that's very standard. Both are really fun. Author tours. You have been to book events. I feel like you've been to quite a few author tours.
That's true. I have been to like author like speaking event and things of that nature. I just haven't gone to like a convention and stayed for a couple days. Yeah.
Totally different vibe than like an author tour.
Yeah.
It's like a giant tour spot for multiple authors all at once. So it's like all of your favorite authors are in attendance instead of just one or two. I've also been to a couple fantasy balls. There was one ball, oh geez, I forget what it was called. It was like Flame and something. I don't want to mess it up because there's quite a few with Flame in the name, but it was in Kansas City. And it was not a book convention, but they did have a book market, kind of like a convention floor in the morning and afternoon. And then the ball was at night. And so like that was really nice too. So I feel like I kind of have the vibe now of a convention floor. Be careful if you're on a book buying ban. Be careful. Yeah. I would say overall, RomantasyCon is way more fun than just like a regular ball or a tour stop because there's vendors and workshops and panels and all the evening events. So it's just like a big party.
It was fun.
Yeah. I wasn't prepared for the size, but I feel like it was a really good introduction for me because I am going to be attending BookCon in April and it's going to be crazy. I saw that I received an email and it was like, oh, there are going to be like 25,000 people in attendance. And I'm like, huh? Because like to me, I thought RomantasyCon was like so busy already. And I'm like, 25,000?
That's a lot.
So that's going to be crazy. But I have been to like Comic-Con and stuff before. So like I'm sure that it'll be similar to San Diego Comic-Con. It'll actually be less people than San Diego Comic-Con, but it held up.
Yeah.
That was a long way of me saying it held up.
Yeah. I guess I have been to one other convention. It wasn't a book convention. It was a podcast convention. I was there for a couple days and that was fun.
That's good.
Yeah. I went with my sister. It was nice.
What would you do differently next time?
I definitely would have arrived earlier. You got there a day early on...
I think 2 days early, actually.
Didn't you get there Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. The convention... Okay. Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Thursday it started for you.
Thursday night it did start for me. It started for you Friday because we had different ticket tiers. Yeah. But yeah, I did come Wednesday.
So I wish I would have gone a day earlier and had an extra day. I think it would have been nice for us to have a day together where we weren't running around and making it to panels and trying to make author signings and stuff. So just to have time with you to like have fun making content and maybe going somewhere in the city and seeing somewhere in the city would have been nice. Like getting to see the location would have been cool. It also consider that like if you have a time zone difference, I didn't. I didn't even leave my state. It was just California is just a really big state. So I had to fly in. But that being said, I do wish I would have gotten there one day earlier like you did. I think it would have been really nice to have more time.
Yeah, because like we cannot stress this enough. Once the convention starts, you will not have any extra time. So if you're wanting to hang out, sightsee, make content if you're like on Book Talk or Bookstagram, like that's the stuff you have to do before. And I did have a time difference. So like I learned from my mistakes. I arrived for Books, Gowns, and Crowns the night before. And I went from Mountain time zone to Eastern time zone, which is like a 2-hour difference. And so I had to like wake up early just to do the convention stuff. But then I also was 2 hours earlier for me too. So it was like I was waking up at 4 a.m. It was awful. So I learned from my mistakes. I always arrive at least a day or two earlier. Plus, like if you are going somewhere that would be fun to sightsee, like, I mean, BookCon is in New York. I like New York. So I'm going to go a little bit early so that I can do something in New York and adjust to the time zone before everything is super chaotic. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
So do you recommend RomantasyCon?
I would, yeah. I think when it comes to other events, you want to make sure that they have a good track record, because there have been a lot of scammy event companies lately who either cancel at the last minute or don't treat their indie authors very well. And we love our indie authors. So I can say with my full chest that Fabled Fantasy is legit and I trust them as a company. I do recommend them. I had a lot of fun. There are obviously pros and cons, like they can't help the stare situation. And there were lots of people, but like lots of people want to attend. But I did enjoy it. And now I know how to not stress out as much over the panel registration or author signings, so that I can kind of have like a more chilled experience.
Yeah, same. I definitely think going to one is a learning experience. So hopefully anybody listening to this can learn from us and be more prepared for their first event and feel extra prepared. And if you are going to go to one and you have questions, please reach out. We're happy to try to help you however we can.
Definitely.
All right, this is where we leave you today, Basic Book Besties. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave us a review and join us next week. As mentioned earlier, we have lots of upcoming content, including Fourth Wing deep dive topics, a crash course season for the Massverse, author interviews, Romantasy book recaps, discussions on some of our favorite contemporary romances, our thoughts on recent adaptations, and more.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah.
You can join us over on Patreon, where you can access all of our episodes ad-free, 3 days early and in full video, plus extras like exclusive book club access and shoutouts on the show. You'll find our Patreon link in the show notes, along with all the ways you can support the podcast.
Don't forget to stay in the loop by following us on social media. Honestly, that is where we are the most feral, so you should definitely be over there. And join us in our Discord chat. Who knows, you might just meet your next book bestie there. You can also check out our website, basicandbookishpod.com, for info about our upcoming seasons, our contact form, and more. We've linked that down in the show notes.
Until next time, reach out on Discord to let us know if you've attended a book convention before and if there's anything that you would do differently next time. See you there.
See you there.